So, in today's class, we are going to start our new topic. Not only new topic, a new subject as per your request which you have done to me. That is our DBMS, Database Management System. It is also a huge demanded subject which is there in your topic in your third year, basically third year of CS and IT, in every other courses also. DBMS is a very important subject which is needed, and here from today onwards we will study DBMS also. Software classes will be there as per it was going on, but DBMS will be also, DBMS classes I will also do. So before we start DBMS, we have to know what is data. Basically, database management system. This is the whole thing. What is DBMS is? Database management system. Now, what is the data? What is, we are always talking about data, data networking, data integrity, everything. What is this data? So, basically, data are, these are distinct piece of information. In day-to-day life, suppose you are in a college, right? So, there attendance is maintained, a student database is maintained. Now, what is there in the database? What is data? Basically, it is distinct information. Each and every student, maybe they have the same name, right? Maybe they can be staying in the same home. They can be brother or sister, right? So, obviously, their address can be same. But still then, what makes you all different? That is your particular roll numbers that are distinct from each other. Then each and every person, either their name are same, maybe their surnames are same, maybe they are staying in the same place, but for each and everything, what is different, what is distinct, making them distinct, that is their roll number. That particular roll number is what? The particular data which is distinct from the other data, right? So it is making this whole data, whatever data is there in the student information system or student database, this particular roll number which we will study afterwards will just make you understand or make all the students distinct from each other. So basically the distinct information is known as data. Data is distinct information. Different information, each and every person, different information about each and everything what is there in your particular database. So basically data means distinct information, that's all. It's the info, that is your information, that we call as data. Then now database, what we put in the database? Obviously it is a base. Base means what? We are putting something on that. We are putting the data inside the database. Particular database, what is that? It is defined as a collection of logically related data together. Logically related data means, suppose if you are making a database of the library management system, then what you will do there? You will obviously put the details about the books present there, the data about how the books are being borrowed, how the books are coming back, these all things about the library only. But at that library management system, in that library management system, you are not going to put the details about the accounts department where your fees are being collected. This is what, since these all data about the library that are logically related, they are logically related data. These logically related, if you are talking about the student information system, obviously their name, their roll number, each and everything, in which class they are, which section they are. For school, obviously section and classes. For colleges, which stream, which kind of subject they have been taking. So these all things are related, logically related data. In one particular database, you can put only the logically related data. You just cannot put anything, any data in a particular database. Suppose my database is there, I am making a database, I have to see what kind of database it is. If it is related to some library, then I will put only the details about the books, how the books have been borrowed, how the books are returned. This all, basically this all things, the student information, the professor information, everything who are taking the books, related to the books, logically that is related, right? If I am talking about the account section, then obviously it will be depending on each and everything about the accounts, the fees, how they have been given, the fine which have been given. So these all kind of information, right? So these are logically related. So all the logically related, basically this collection of logically related things, data, is when we are putting these things together, that is your database, right? So basically it is defined as a collection of logically related data together. You have to put the logically related data in one place, that will be your database. Data, distinct information, database, logically related data put together, right? So this is what is your database. Now we are talking about database management system. Data complete, database complete. Now we are coming to database management system. Obviously, you from the name you can understand distinct data, when logically related data they are kept together, that is called database. Obviously, the management of that database, how to keeping of that database is known as database management system. That so it is a collection of interrelated data and a set of programs to access those data. Now, you have the database, right? That is kept in a particular computer. You have saved the whole database in a particular system. Now, how you are going to access those data? That is also important, because you just have the data, but there are a set of programs, what we study in Oracle, that particular programs helps us to retrieve the data from the database. Exactly, that is right. So whenever you are making a database, that is your whole interrelated data, right? Collection of interrelated data, right? And a set of programs to access those data. Obviously, you have to access those data. That set of programs, that is SQL, we know, we will study also later in a very brief manner what is there. That SQL is giving us a particular queries. We are writing some queries which the database is giving back you the response. So you can retrieve the data from the database with the help of some set of programs, that is also needed when you are talking about the database management system. Database is the collection of interrelated, logically interrelated data, and database management system is also that logically related data and a set of programs which will help you to retrieve those particular data, right? Then the primary goal of a DBMS is to provide a way to store and retrieve database info that is both convenient and efficient. Now, primary goal is what of DBMS? Store and retrieve data. Not only store. Suppose you are storing anything in a place, particular place. You are storing some object in a particular box. Now you have put the box, secured, well secured. But you should know, you should have the procedure also to unpack that box and get the objects out of the box. So not only to put a thing secured, it is not the only thing. The goal is what? We have to put the thing secured, as well as we have to retrieve that thing also. So to store the data as well as to retrieve those data, that is the goal of our DBMS. We will store the data and retrieve the data. That is the primary goal of our DBMS, database management system. Clear? Now, in a convenient and efficient way. Obviously, whatever thing you are going to do, it should be convenient and it should be efficient. Then only one will use your particular thing. So DBMS is convenient as well as efficient in storing as well as retrieving the data. Now it is basically a computerized record keeping system which stores info and allow user to add, delete, change, retrieve, update that info on demand. That is, it's a computers. Obviously, we are not keeping this DBMS in a file management system. Before it was used. File management system, it was huge in quantity. Okay, many and many copies you have to keep there. Some copies you are keeping in some place, some copies there. Many natural hazards can easily corrupt those copies. And to retrieve the data, particularly those file management system, what was happening, we were saving those things in some particular hash, that is .doc or .pdf, right? So these extensions were a very huge matter there. But here in DBMS, what things, particular DBM database what you are saving, you can easily retrieve that thing, right? It is computerized, so it is safe. Basically it's safe, it is kept in one place. You can easily transfer this thing also. In file management system, it was, if the copy pen system was there, that was also not so much efficient, because if some types of calamities were there, fire, anything, obviously those things were corrupted or that can be easily destroyed. But when it is computerized records, it can be easily accessed as well as it is secured. You can easily keep those copies in your pen drive or in your hard disk. So this is the main thing, right? So obviously this is a computerized record keeping system. Each and every database is kept in your computer, saved in your computer. So it is a computerized record keeping system. All the databases, they are being kept, they are saved in a, while you are putting the data, you are making the database in SQL, that is Oracle. With the help of that one, you are just putting your all data, you are making the whole database, create table like that, and then you are putting each and everything in the particular database. This is how you are making the database and putting the insert so and so. You will see that afterwards, but these are some commands which we use, some queries. By the help of these queries, we make the database and we put our data into that particular database. Each and every data. Suppose if you are talking about some employee management system, then employee ID, employee name, employee address, salary, each and everything is being added one by one with the help of these queries, particular queries. But not only you are just making the database, you are giving the data, putting the data, you are storing that data safe and retrieving that data. No, other things are also there which you can do with the help of your DBMS. As it's a computer recording system, obviously this whole system is safe, as well as you can easily manipulate that one also, since it is computerized. And you can easily transfer those databases to different locations also. It is also very used, as well as you can keep them, store them in a secured manner. So these are the whole things which is very efficient as well as convenient in case of DBMS. Now, what are the things you can do? It not only stores the data, you can add data. When you are making the database, you can add some data inside that one, right? Obviously, when you are making a database, you will add something. Delete the data. You can easily delete. Suppose some employee is transferred to other location, you can delete the data of that particular employee in your DBMS very easily. And change the data. Suppose the employee ID have been changed, or the employee in the same office, his post have been changed, he have been promoted, the post have been changed. So that data you can easily change, that is you can manipulate. That retrieve the data, you can get the data easily. You will just write the query, what thing you need. As per your query, you will get the data, whatever data you need. Suppose you want to get the name of the employees whose name is starting with S. So you will just write the query, names starting with S, you will ask for that one and you will get that one. So this retrieving, we will study about the commands afterwards, the queries. But still that, this is the procedure, this thing you can get. And updation. Updation means, suppose after some time, a particular employees, 3-4 employees, they are just transferred to other location of your same office, but the post have been changed. At that time you are changing this particular data, and you can update that particular database. So this updation can also be done. You can change, you can update, each and everything can be done. So these all things can be done in your DBMS, that is database management system, but on demand. Whenever you demand, whenever you want, no time is limited there. You can demand whenever you are demanding. You can write the query and you can do whatever you want. Add, delete, update, everything is available in your DBMS. So from this particular whole information, what you get is that DBMS is very convenient and efficient. Since in file management system, these all things cannot be easily done. But in DBMS, since it's a computerized record, these things can easily be done one by one. Each and everything you can do. Obviously, some anomalies are there also, but basically you can but just do these things very easily, right? Now, applications where we are just going to use this DBMS. Each and every places nowadays, each and every place DBMS is being used, that is database management system. First of all, banking and finance. How banking and finance? Each and everything, whole data about the money transaction, each and everything, the transaction system is there also in DBMS. So each and everything is being used, done by this DBMS, database management system. The money transaction, how the whole transaction processing is done. So these all things are being done in DBMS in applications of banking and finance. Each and every, obviously their customers, how they are just doing the transactions, these things are also there in the, is all things, who is taking the loan, what finance, other conditions they are doing, financial position of the person, these all things are being done in the deep database. So these are stored and easily retrieved. So this is what is helped in the application of banking and finance. Railways, which train, when it is going, the ticket counter, obviously they are also managing a DBMS, their database management system. That is how which person, which ticket, each and everything is being processed, which train is coming at what time. A train database is maintained, a ticket database is maintained for each and every person. So different databases are maintained in railways also. It is very important in case of railways, very important. Again, airlines, which plane is coming, our customer database is maintained, obviously a passenger database is maintained, the ticket counter is also having that one, the planes, which flight is going at what time. So these kind of databases are being made at these airlines also. These are real-time databases, changing, and they are just manipulating, updating everything, each and everything is done with the help of DBMS. Then sales, whatever things we are purchasing, in case of our online shopping also, there also we see that a particular database is maintained, what thing each and every customer is taking, the customer database is there, the sales database is there. So these all things are maintained in the sales services also, in case of online purchasing, or in any case, other cases also, what stock is there, limited stock are there, these things are there. So what kind of stock is present, what is not available. So these things are obviously maintained in case of database for sales services. And universities, it is very important, since each and everything is maintained in the database. In colleges, our college also, every college, these things are maintained. In universities, that what the exam database, what kind of marks every student have got, or each and everything semester wise, each and everything, the fees, the accounts, the student ID, the student database, the professor database, their salary, each and everything is their particular database is maintained. So without database management system, these things are not possible. So you can easily understand from this that database management system is very much needed when you are talking about these particular things. Not only this, outside from this also, if you see, in hospital management system is there, library management system is there, in hospital also patient management system is made, everything is there. Each and every place you can see that data is maintained with the help of DBMS, right? So here also disadvantages of file processing system. Now what is there? Disadvantages of file processing system. What is the disadvantages? So first one is data redundancy and inconsistency. What is that? Data redundancy means that what kind of data, if suppose I am writing a particular thing, suppose that let me show you. Suppose if you are making a particular database, right? What is redundancy? Suppose you are making a particular database, right? This is the customer. Suppose we are talking about a particular student ID or customer database, right? So this is the customer ID. This is the things what they have purchased, right? Address, etc, etc. So now what happens? What is redundancy? Suppose your customer ID is 001, right? They have purchased a particular thing, suppose watch, and there are some addresses given. Then after writing some more things, that customer that had purchased again something, that is now his customer ID is this one. Now again he have purchased some purse, again same address. So this is redundancy of data. Same customer, so again repeated data about the same customer. So what we can do is just this redundancy is deleted and same place this customer had purchased it. So this is a small example of what is redundancy. The same data when repeated, right? In file processing system it was not possible, because after writing a particular data, it was not possible to search that whether this particular customer he have purchased before also or not. What they were doing, they were just writing, okay, this customer did. So obviously it was very lengthy that time. File processing system, it was what it was happening. Particular data is, if we were writing some particular data about a particular customer, then it was coming to a particular section that yes, this particular customer have taken this thing, okay, done. Then again when he was purchasing, that was also again put it in that file. So obviously like this, only one customer, not many customers are doing like this. So obviously what happens, the whole system was very lengthy and inconsistent also, because inconsistency was also there, since each and every customer is, whether more and more customer they are taking things, obviously that the whole file will be very lengthy. But in database management system, what we do, particular customer ID is given. Again when we are finding that, okay, you can take the example of the doctors. Now today in today's case, what we can see, when you go to a particular doctor, they are maintaining a particular database, right? After the patient, they are taking the information about the patient, they are just putting that in a particular database. When after some days you are going, what previously happens, again they started taking your data, what is there, how you are feeling, these all things, your particular problems, what other things you have. So these particular things they used to take, again they used to take. Nowadays what they do, they just give your patient ID, or they just put your name, see your whole information, and what things, what kind of allergies you have from different medicines, your particular different again other things which you have. So these things what they maintain a database, they just see that database, they are getting that one, and they prescribe you the whole medicines. Okay, so this thing is what, that this is the time consuming section is not now gone. It is very efficient now. Time efficiency is very much done now. So in these places what happens, this inconsistency or this redundancy of data is also fulfilled. Redundancy what? Same data when it was repeated in file processing system, that is not repeated. Now for a particular customer, the customer ID is put, and in that particular section only what thing he is purchasing, each and everything is given there, and same thing, his whole thing is delivered to the same person with the same money, same particular packaging money. So it is very efficient now. Same thing what is happening, in inconsistency is also controlled, that is your consistency is maintained. That I have told you the example of the doctors. What they do, time consuming portion is now gone. They are just taking the, they are just giving the patient ID and just prescribing you the medicine. Whole thing is now very efficient. So this is the thing what was their disadvantage in our file processing system. Nowadays for DBMS, it is very efficient, convenient as well as efficient for each and every area of the world. Now Second is difficulty in accessing data placed in different locations. When we were placing the data, what happened in file processing system? What happened? We were placing the data in different locations, and then when we need the data, when we used to find that data, it was very difficult for us. Why difficult? We used to find each and where we have kept that data. Now we used to search that one. Some data we get, some data maybe we cannot get also. So this kind of things was happening in file processing system. But in DBMS, what happens, each and everything is being placed in the same place. So just you have to go to your particular Oracle software, just write your SQL queries, and you can retrieve the data. All things are just placed in the same place. So you have not to find your data, where I have kept that data, where I have kept that. No, you just have not to find each and every place. You just go to the DBMS software and you can easily, Oracle software, and you can easily access your data, retrieve the data with the help of simple queries, SQL commands, and you can get that data. So obviously when each and every data is placed in different places, it is very difficult to find as well as to store also, because whether you are storing at that place, maybe that place is secured or not, which place you are storing your data. But in DBMS, your data is secured, as well as you can keep the data, access the data in any place wherever you want, as well as you can keep the data safe. So this is what was the disadvantage in case of file management system, but it's the huge advantages in case of your DBMS. Done. Now, data isolation, different forms. What was there? I have already told you. When we were placing the data, we were saving the data. Suppose I am getting some data now about a particular student. I am placing that data, I am saving that data with a particular extension, that is doc in my doc format, right? Now after some time, some other student comes, he also gives me some data about, suppose it's about your project, right? So I am saving some data in my doc extension, some in my PDF extension. What the students do, they obviously, we have also done that. We give some person, when we were giving our CVs, what we do, we give, somebody is giving in the PDF format, somebody is giving in the document format, somebody is giving in some other format. So what happens, the collector who is collecting this particular data, something he is placing in the something is a document format, and something he was placing in the PDF format. Other formats were also there. So these kind of things happens when he starts writing the whole things, retrieving the data. Then what happens, the location was different, obviously the location was different, as well as the formats are also different. To find and to collect the data and to retrieve the data, it was very difficult, since your forms are different. That is data isolation. Forms are different, then obviously whatever data they have given, we are just giving our data, we are submitting our data. Yes, so and so, this is my CV, I am submitting that one. Someone is giving in doc, someone was giving in PDF format. But the person who is collecting that data and retrieving that data, he is making the database, whole database in file processing system. It was very difficult to find the data. He is taking each and everything in pen drive, and he is just saving here and there. And after that time, when he was going to retrieve, some persons that his particular CV is missing, his CV is missing. So these things were obviously happening in file processing system. Nowadays what happens, whatever things are taken in that format, just saving in the DBMS with these particular formats, is saving in the same place. So data isolation doesn't happen. Also the extension problem is not there. So this thing is also very much advantage in your DBMS system, which was not in your file processing system, right? Now, integrity problem, change data constraints. Data everywhere is a problem. Integrity problem is data constraints. Suppose in a particular portion, I am writing that this is my constant. Here I will write the amount. Suppose here some amount will be submitted which will be less than 33,000, right? here some amount will be submitted which will be more than 3000. So this is what a constant I am giving, putting a constant on my data. Now in file processing, what happens, whenever these particular things are done, that here my data will be more than 3000, I will submit, and here less than 3000, so less than and more than. But these are my constraints, right? These are my constraints which I am putting on my data. Now in file processing system, what happens, that here some data is being put, some data is being put here. So integrity problem was also there. To make these constraints able on them, the data, it was very much difficult, because you were just, they were somebody is giving the money and somebody is depositing that one, to see whose is greater than 3000, who is less than 3000. So this was a very difficult to just adjust these things. Now in case of DBMS, we are just putting a constraint that the data which I want to retrieve should be less than 3000. They will just give you the whole table, your DBMS software. If greater than this, just put the constant. So this putting this data constant is very much important in case of DBMS, which was not present in your file processing system. Obviously, to maintain these two things is very easy in your DBMS, but in file processing system, to maintain these things was a huge problem. So to put the constants, you can easily just put a constant that yes, this amount should be less than 3000, greater than 3000. This is very much easy, but in file processing system it was very tough. So this is also a problem, that is integrity problem, changing data constraints. You can change the data constraints also from time to time, and data everywhere was a very much problem. So data was what, that time data was scattered in a scattered manner, but here DBMS is just making the whole data safe and secured, stored in a very adjust manner. At that time it is in an arranged manner, but at that time it was very scattered. Thing was same, but it was scattered in a very huge portion. Each and every data was just scattered. Now in case of DBMS, each and everything is arranged in a very beautiful manner, that every person can, who knows the commands or queries, they can easily find the things. They can update, manipulate, do each and everything very nicely and efficiently in case of DBMS. Right? Now, automation problem. Updation of any data in one file, not possible to update in the other files. Now what happens? See, what happens in case of DBMS? Here, in file processing system, what happens? Suppose a particular employee, employee ID, employee name, right, and his particular position he is working in, and etc other data about him, salary, other things. So what happens here? Particular employee ID, suppose 001, right, 02, like this employee ID is there. Now, okay, suppose not employee ID, suppose it's customer ID. Okay, suppose your customer ID. Let's see in a very efficient manner also. Customer ID, right? And your, in case of banking management, first our example was banking, right? So you see what happens. Now transaction, customer 1, right, he have this. In first transaction, what he is doing, he was doing some amount A plus 30, suppose example. Then so here some particular amount is given. Then now what happens, same customer is doing a transaction, again he is doing a transaction. What transaction he is doing? This particular thing what he have got, now he is adding again some 50 rupees there, some 30, now some 50. Done. So what happens, this is also being Done here. This is transaction 1, this is transaction 2. Done. So data automaticity is what? Updation of any data in one file not possible to update in other files. This is the updation which I am doing in a particular file. He is putting 30 rupees. If he is just after, suppose we have 100 rupees. So after putting 30 rupees, it is 130 now. But again the customer, same day, what he is doing? He is suppose subtracting 30 rupees again. Now again it is coming to 100 rupees. Same customer ID. Done. So atomicity is what? This particular transaction at the time of file processing system was very difficult to adjust. What happened? This is, he is doing this also, he is doing this also. Now to these changes of data, what is that? Updation of any data. Updation of data. What updation? For this portion the updation is 130. Same day, after some hours, he is doing again. This updation is what? 100. Now to do this updation, not possible to update in different files. My file is having the data of a particular customer. There he is adding 30 rupees. I am updating that one. Done. Now again we, after that time, closing that file, gone. Now the customer is again doing some other transaction. This updation is not done there. This time I am seeing the previous data. That was what? That was 100. Now the customer, what he is doing? He is just subtracting 30. Done. So now what will happen? It will come to 70. So what is happening? This data will be inconsistent in case of file processing system. But now when in DBMS, what happens? He is just taking this customer ID, seeing what is the data updation now. Now when the customer is doing again the transaction, that is B, this particular data will be taken and you will get the updated data. This is the thing what happens in case of DBMS, which was not possible in file processing system. To update each and every file was not possible at that time, since maybe the particular your forms were different. A particular data is saved in one form, another data is saved in another form. So updation was very much a problem in case of file processing system. Atomicity problem was there in case of file processing system. You will study in transaction management system also in further classes, in higher classes when we will do. At that time you will see how this transaction processing happens. It's a very important thing as well as very interesting thing how this transactions happens. So this updation of data for each and every file, a small calculation mistake may just hold, it will just ruin the whole thing. Then if this thing happens, suppose I am updating this data for the customer, again when he is giving me the other time, he is just deducting the money. At that time, if from that particular amount which was present earlier, I will deduct the whole amount, then obviously what will happen? So it will ruin his account. Some anomalies will happen. But when in DBMS, simple thing what we do, we will just work with this customer ID, which is the distinct data, which is making each and every customer distinct from one another. This will just be taken, done, and what will happen? This particular data, what the updation was, recent updation, on that particular updation, the transaction will be done. These are transactions. These particular things are transactions. The amount deducted, the amount added, these are transactions. So these particular transactions will be done on the updated data. So this is what happens on your particular DBMS. But these things were not possible in file processing system. Data atomicity was not present there. updating each and every file, that you can say updation of any data in one file, not possible to update in all the files. Each and every file is there, each and every file is present there, but to update the data in each and every files, also in a particular, if suppose in a particular bank or in any office also, suppose a particular person, he is being posted to another position. At that time also, you can take this example also. Suppose, I hope you understand, but now if we see that two kinds of things are there. A particular database, two databases are there. One is employee database, details of employee, whole details about the employee, and one is accounts, where the salary portion is done. Right? Now for my particular customer, right, suppose his name is A. So for this A, he had been transferred to, promoted to other position, right? He was a particular officer, now he is the manager. So this is his promotion, promoted rank, right? So in case of this employee particular file, I have just make the updation that he have been promoted to manager post. He was the officer, normal officer, now he is a manager. Done. So I have updated this file. This file is updated. Right. Now in case of accounts, if this updation is not done, he was officer, he was getting suppose 20,000. Now he is manager, he should get 40,000. Suppose. Now I have not updated this one. It was not many huge files you have. So many files. They have been separated, they are scattered. No, this updation have been done in one file. Doesn't means it is updated in each and every file. If this updation have not been done, then think what will happen. What will happen to that particular employee A? Done. So this doesn't happen, but this used to happen in case of file processing system. To find that file, each and every file, not only this, again some compensation or some other things which used to be got by that particular person for achieving this rank. So what happened? This particular thing, each and every file, I am updating a particular file with a particular data. But to update that particular file, a particular data in each and every file, it was not possible in case of file processing system. But in DBMS, what they will do, they will just see the ID of the particular person, and each and every database which is having that ID, they will just change the rank of that employee. Obviously, all things will be done in a very efficient and convenient manner. Understood? I think you have understood this one. So it is a very important thing, that data atomicity, to update each and every file which is having the particular data is very important, right? So updation of any data in one file, not possible to update in all files, but here it's possible to updating all file which is containing the same data. Clear? Now, security problems. Security problems was very much there, because you have to secure it by some password, you have to secure it by some other ways. If some particular hazards happens, then maybe some files can be corrupted, or maybe some files can be hacked, anything can happen. But in DBMS, since each and everything is being saved, stored in a particular database, it is very important that the security should be good. Obviously, DBMS is providing you a full security that you can easily avail that data, retrieve that data from anywhere, as well as the data is very much securely stored. Done. Now, so these are what are the disadvantage of your file processing system, which I have explained, as well as what is the advantages or how these have overcome with the help of DBMS. That also I have explained you here. Now we will see what are the advantages of our DBMS. Done. First is self-describing nature of DBMS. Self-describing nature means DBMS is having the capability for self-describing. Each and everything is being described. That is self-describing nature. Catalog is present. What the catalog contains? Catalog is also having metadata, data about data. You can find the data about each and every data in case of DBMS. A particular catalog is maintained where you can find, that is a self-describing nature of DBMS. You can find the metadata about each and every data, right? Metadata means data about the data. Okay, some data you are getting and you can see what is the description of data. So the self-describing nature of DBMS is very much present in case of the database management system. Now, different database can be used by different users. Many different databases are there. Suppose you are in the account section, right? You can, if you need to know whether about the employee database, that whether some changes have been done to his rank, you can easily access that database also. So users have the they can access the database which they want. They have the permission, right? Some database have the permission of the administration. They have to take the permission of the administrative person to access that one. But generally user can just access different databases which are put in different location, as well as different database can be used by different users. That is user friendly. In file processing system, the users who wants to see each and every file was not easily accessed by each and every user. But now in DBMS, any user can easily access the different files that is put in different location, as well as the user can be of different department. They can easily, whosoever the user is the user, they can easily access the files which is put in different locations, right? Now, correct updation of data. As you can see here, what will happen if the correct updation will not done, then obviously it will be a very huge hazard for the person who is there in the employee section. Now, correct updation of the data is very much important, which is our atomicity, which was a huge problem in case of file management system, file processing system. But here in case of DBMS, that problem is solved. That is, your correct updation of data is done. They are just taking the ID and seeing that particular customer ID where it had been stored in different databases. Once the data is updated in any of the database, that data is updated in each and every database containing that particular person's data or the data of that particular person. Wherever the data is present, they are updating in each and every place. So the atomicity problem is being solved. Each and every place the data is updated at the same time, at the instant when it is changed in one database. So correct updation of data is done there, right? Now redundancy is reduced. Obviously redundancy is reduced, as I have shown you that particular ID of a person, same thing is repeated every time. In file processing system, what it was used to do, that same thing was repeated each and every time. Each and every data was repeated. But now what happens, this redundancy is not present there. Each and every data, whatever data is given, the redundancy is reduced here in case of DBMS, that is removed. Repeated data, it is not placed. Whatever data is there, after seeing the ID, it is placed in one place only. Obviously what will happen when you place the same, you are just not going to give the redundancy or removing the redundancy, your system will also be very small. Whatever things you are storing, the whole database will be very small. But files were used to be very huge since this redundancy of data was done there. But in DBMS, the thing is very compact as well as it's very small. Things it's keeping a very less amount of space, as the redundancy have been removed. No repeated data is there in your DBMS. So it is also there. The security problems are solved. Each and every security problem is also solved. As I have told you, some data, if if the particular account section wants the data to be secured, that no other person other than the person in account section can access the data, right? So what they will do, they will just put some constraints and they will put some permission also, that this administrative person can also, the administrator can only access that database. So no other person from any other department, from any other place can access that particular data, since the accounts data is very important. So this is what is happening in case of DBMS. Unauthorized user cannot have the access. Unauthorized users, as well as if I want my database to be within my department only, it cannot be accessed by, if I don't want any other person to access that data, at that time what we are going to do, we are just putting some constraints as well as some security measures, so that no other persons from the other departments will be able to access that data. Only the administrator of that particular database will be able to access that data. So this thing can also be achieved with the help of database management system. Then, so this is the whole thing what comes under DBMS, right? Now what other things are there in DBMS? We can write the commands easily with the help of Oracle. You have already studied about Oracle if you are learning DBMS, and you also have studied about SQL, right? SQL is the how we give the command, that language, that how we are going to give the queries, the languages to our particular system, so that we can retrieve the data. And the whole database, I will show you how the particular database looks like. That is, here suppose it's for the student ID, so it will be the student ID, student database. It is about the student database, the name, and suppose this ID means your roll number, right? ID means your roll number, which will be different for each and every person, which will identify you as a particular entity. What is the entity? Entity means a particular object. Particular entity means a particular object. Suppose you are a student, so each and every student in the class is identified with that particular thing that is very unique. It should be unique, right? This unique thing, after you will study that it is known as primary key. This is your primary key. Primary key means this particular thing will make you understood that you are different from other people in the class, in the particular section. So this ID, student ID, is that thing. Now you can have the subjects which you read, the particular address of the person, phone number, email, etc. So this is how we make a particular database. This is how we make a particular database. These are the rows and these are the columns. Particular columns will have the distinct data, each and every information of each and every student. Suppose this is, and these rows will have the data of each particular student. This row will have the data of a particular student, and each column will have the data, distinct data of each and every student, right? This is how a whole database looks like, right? Now the main thing is that each and every data, as we have studied, that a distinct information, that is the data which is saved. So what is that distinct information? That distinct information is our student ID, that is your roll number, or the student ID which is maintained by a particular university. Whenever anything, any changes have been, what if some if for the case of account section, what happens? Suppose this is to, again take one example, right, to understand it much better. Student ID is there. Now what happens? This is the student database, right? This is the student database. Now what happens? Suppose here this is the student data. Now this is what is there present in the university. Now some database is present with the teachers, that is the professors, that is whole marking which student, which exam he is giving, he is present or not in that particular class. Attendance, the main thing, attendance. Now what happens, if a particular student is not having a particular attendance, some constants is given that yes, 75% attendance is needed. If at that time the student does not have 75% attendance, what happens, this particular thing will be updated to the account section. What they will do, they will tell them that you are not able to give the examination, you have to give so and so fine, or you will not be able to attend the examination. Again, if the student have not given the fees, that is just seen in the account section, that is updated to the teachers that so and so student have not given the fine. That updation will be done to that database also. They will be not allowed to give the examination. So these things, what happens, these things are very much easy in case of this DBMS. One thing, whatever is updated in one database, it is very much easily updated in each and every database which is present, where the student, particular student ID, this ID is present. So this is the unique key, that is the primary key, which is identifying a particular student in all these databases which is present in a particular university. So this primary key is very much important when you are making a particular database, right? So this primary key we will study afterwards. Foreign key is also there, secondary keys are also there, which are just needed when we are going for a particular database. To identify each and every person uniquely, we need this primary keys. Every database you will see the primary keys there, two dash I put it at that place which is taken as the primary key. Each and every database, wherever you will find, you have that primary key. That primary key will show you the uniqueness of the particular entity. Now what is the entity? Entity means a object, right? Entity means, I am giving you just an overview, we will study in other classes. What is an entity? Entity means what? A object. Suppose I have an entity, a student. So this is my entity. This is my entity student, and this is my entity teacher, right? So this is one entity relationship diagram. Now what happens to this entity? This is also one entity and this is also one entity. Entity means what? These are some objects. In case of DBMS, each and everything we treat them as a particular entity. Entity means a particular object who will have some attributes: name, roll number, address, etc., age, etc., etc., right? So these are what? Attributes. These are attributes. Attributes means whatever things we know about the particular entity. These attributes are written here when you are writing the particular, making the particular database. That was the student ID, name, his particular phone number, address, age, email, etc., etc. So these are what? These are these attributes only. The attributes about that, the things you want to know about that particular entity. So these attributes are written as the column, that is the different columns which we are getting in this database. Then it's very easy that whatever thing you know about a particular entity, that is written in the, and to know about this particular thing, this is the primary key which we use as the uniqueness, that is unique ID. That is your primary key. Unique ID is the primary key for each and everything. And the third thing is what is? That is relationship. What is the relationship between student and teacher? Teaching or teaches. Teacher teaches the student, right? So this is what entity relationship diagram. We will again discuss this afterwards also, but this is what is entity relationship diagram. So basically each and everything which we just put in the database, that particular things or objects are called as entity. That is your entity. Now how you are going to describe your entity, what things are there about your entity, that thing is written here in each and every column. What you are going to describe about that particular entity, right? Describe about that particular entity, that thing is written in case of this particular columns, each and every column. And third thing is your relationship and the uniqueness of each and every entity. The uniqueness, whatever each and every entity is finding, this is called as the primary key. Uniqueness is given by the primary key. This is all what is present in the basic thing of your DBMS. Basically DBMS, the data that is the inconsistent, that is the particular data which is different from each and every other data, that is information that is put in the database, and that database, wholly the management of the database is known as database management system. So there logically interrelated data are placed, which can be updated, added, deleted, retrieved. Each and everything can be done with the help of some programming, that is some programming commands. That is your database management system. And obviously database management system is used in banking, railway, airlines, everywhere, colleges, universities, everywhere it is used, schools. This thing is nowadays very much important. Why? Because file processing system was having so many disadvantages, which you can see here, and that is overcome by our DBMS, that is database management system. This is what is the whole basic idea about your DBMS, database management system. Now in next class we will now again study about the other things, more advanced topics about DBMS, right? So this is the basic class about your database management system, to understand what is database management system and why we are taking this database management system in use, why we are just opposing the file processing system and we are supporting the DBMS, database management, each and everywhere it's used. So this is the whole thing about DBMS. If you have any kinds of queries or comments related to this class, I hope you like this class and you have enjoyed about DBMS. If you have any queries, any comments, you can give me that. Just share this particular channel and like, subscribe, so that other people can also watch these DBMS classes as well as your software classes. Till then, take care and goodbye.